You ever have one of those neighbors who acts like the entire neighborhood is her own private empire? Yeah, that's Linda for us. She didn't just come with a clipboard. She came with a crown made of outdated HOA bylaws. Linda, the self-appointed HOA president, walks around like she's the sheriff of suburbia. Always frowning, always watching, and never ever wrong, at least in her own head. So it's a peaceful Saturday morning. Birds are chirping, my coffee's steaming, and I'm halfway through a breakfast burrito when this awful clanging starts echoing from my basement. I freeze mid-bite. My dog's barking like there's a full-blown invasion. I grab my phone thinking, perfect. My weekend's turning into a true crime podcast. I open the basement door and there they are. Two guys in neon safety vests halfway down the stairs. One's holding a clipboard, the other's wielding a drill. Can I help you? I shout. The guy answers calmly. We're here for the HOA inspection. Basement foundation repair. Hold up, inspection? Repair? I never scheduled anything, and last I checked, the HOA didn't own X-ray goggles to see my basement. So I ask who sent them. The man replies, the president, Linda. She said we had your permission to inspect for safety. I almost dropped my phone. This woman literally sent a construction crew into my home without asking. My mind's racing between fury and disbelief. But the workers look genuinely confused, so I tell them, firmly, to pack up and leave before I call the cops. They hesitate but start packing their tools. Still in my slippers, I stomp straight to Linda's house. She's outside watering her immaculate lawn like nothing happened. Linda, I say, why was there a crew in my basement? She blinks, feigning innocence. Oh, that, she says, all breezy. I noticed cracks by your driveway. I thought your foundation might be unstable. HOA can't risk damage spreading to other homes. Excuse me, what? Since when can an HOA president invade someone's property over a driveway crack? I tell her flat out it's illegal to enter private property without consent. She just waves her hand. Don't be so dramatic. It's for the community's good. Oh, Linda, I was about to show her real drama. I called the city housing department and explained everything. Unauthorized entry, fake inspection, random contractors in my basement. The woman on the line went silent for a beat, then said, Sir, that's not just an HOA issue. That's a city code violation. That afternoon, a real city inspector came by, took photos, reviewed the contractor's fake paperwork, and confirmed it, completely unauthorized. A few days later, Linda's front door sported a bright orange notice. City citation, unauthorized property access. The irony was delicious. The same woman who fined people for leaving trash cans out too long got busted for trespassing. And an apology? Not even close. She hopped on the neighborhood Facebook group claiming it was a misunderstanding and that she was protecting the community. Someone posted a picture of her citation notice in the comments, and it got more likes than every HOA post combined. Now, whenever she walks past my house, she can't even look me in the eye, which, honestly, is the best HOA improvement we've had all year. Fine by me. I even added a cute little sign next to my door that reads, Basement inspected. Trespassers will be cited. Linda hasn't so much as looked at my driveway since. Guess that imaginary crown of hers started feeling a little too heavy. You'd think after getting slapped with a city citation, she'd take a step back and maybe retire her self-appointed HOA throne. Nope. Instead, she went full authoritarian. It's like the citation flipped a switch in her brain, from queen to full-on neighborhood dictator. About a week later, I'm mowing the lawn, minding my own business, when I notice Linda pacing up and down the sidewalk, clutching, wait for it, a walkie-talkie. She's whispering into it like she's leading a covert mission. Unit 3, I've got eyes on a possible violation, over. I almost mowed over my own foot, trying not to laugh. Turns out, she'd recruited two of her loyal cronies, Carl and Debbie, to form what she proudly dubbed the Neighborhood Maintenance Patrol. And they went all in, neon orange vests, the words HOA Compliance Team printed in Comic Sans on the back. I swear it looked like a preschool safety drill gone rogue. Every evening they'd do slow laps around the block, taking pictures of trash cans, measuring lawns, and leaving fake courtesy notices like they were writing parking tickets. I got one that said, Your grass exceeds HOA standards by 0.75 inches. Linda even taped it to my mailbox with a smiley face sticker. I thought it was sarcasm. Nope. She meant every pixel of that Comic Sans nonsense. Then one night around 9 p.m., I hear something outside. I peek through the blinds and, no joke, there's Carl in my yard taking pictures of my porch light. My porch light! Apparently, it was too bright for neighborhood harmony. That was my breaking point. I step outside and say, "Carl, do you have a permit to be on my property?" He jumps like I just caught him mid-bank heist, mutters something about Linda's orders, and bolts down the street, vest glowing like a radioactive pumpkin. Next morning, I head to the HOA office, which, for the record, is just a glorified meeting room at the community center. And there's Linda, sitting behind a folding table like she's chairing a Fortune 500 board meeting. She's got this massive binder open and that smug little smirk that says, "You can't touch me." I tell her straight, "If you or your little patrol steps foot on my property again, I'll file a restraining order." She tilts her head and says, "Oh, don't be ridiculous. We're just maintaining compliance. Nothing personal." Right, because stalking my lawn with a camera at night is totally nothing personal, so I decide to return the favor, with flair. I hang a giant banner over my porch light that says, "Smile, Linda, you're on camera too." Then I install one of those motion-activated sprinklers right on the edge of my lawn. By day 2, Carl's drenched, Debbie looks like she lost a fight with a car wash, and Linda, oh Linda, marches up my driveway, clipboard in hand, and gets nailed right in the face with a jet of freezing water. She screams like a banshee who just stepped on a Lego. The best part? My Ring camera caught every glorious second. I uploaded the clip to the Fine by Me. I even hung a cheeky little sign by my door that read, "Basement inspected. Trespassers will be cited." Linda hasn't come within 10 feet of my driveway since. Guess that shiny HOA crown started slipping. You'd think after a city citation, she'd finally get the hint and hang up her clipboard for good. But nope, Linda doesn't do humble. Instead, she doubled down like a reality TV villain after bad press. A week later, I'm mowing the lawn, minding my own business, when I spot her pacing up and down the sidewalk with, get this, a walkie-talkie. She's whispering into it like she's commanding a SWAT team. "Unit 3, visual on a possible violation. Over." I almost ran over my foot laughing. Turns out she'd recruited her die-hard followers, Carl and Debbie, to form what she proudly called the Neighborhood Maintenance Patrol. And they looked the part. Neon orange vests with HOA compliance team printed on the back in Comic Sans. It was like a toddler field trip led by a dictator. Every evening, they'd march around the block taking pictures of trash cans, measuring lawns, and leaving courtesy citations. I even got one that said, "Your grass length exceeds HOA standards by 0.75 inches, taped to my mailbox, with a smiley sticker. At first, I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Then one night around 9 p.m., I hear rustling outside. I peek through my blinds. There's Carl in my yard, snapping photos of my porch light. Apparently, my bulb was too bright for neighborhood unity. That was the last straw. I marched out there and said, "Carl, do you have permission to be on my property?" He jumped like he'd been caught mid-heist, muttered Linda's orders, and sprinted away, camera flailing, vest glowing like a radioactive cone. The next morning, I went straight to the HOA office. Well, the glorified storage closet they call an office, and there's Linda, sitting like she's CEO of Suburbia Corp. She's got her massive binder open, her smug smile locked in place. I said, "If you or your patrol steps foot on my property again, I'll file a restraining order." She gives me this little smirk and says, "Oh, don't be dramatic. We're just ensuring compliance." Yeah, right. So I decided to get creative. I printed a giant banner that read, "Smile. Linda, you're on camera too." Then installed a motion-activated sprinkler right at the property line. By the second day, Carl's soaked, Debbie's hair looks like she got electrocuted, and Linda, oh, poetic justice, marches up my driveway with her clipboard, only to get blasted full in the face with freezing water. The scream that followed could have summoned wildlife from 3 zip codes. And the best part? My Ring cam caught it all. Naturally, I uploaded the footage to the local Facebook group with the caption, "HOA inspection in progress." Within hours, it exploded. The comments were gold, people saying things like, "Linda's finally living by her own rules," and "next meeting, Bring towels. Even the same city inspector who fined her dropped a laughing emoji. Word spread, and soon the rest of the HOA board had enough. Turns out Linda had used HOA funds for her little patrol stunt. Vests, walkie-talkies, everything. A few days later, there was an emergency HOA meeting. The turnout was massive. Half the neighborhood came just for the drama. Linda strutted in like she owned the place, binder in hand, saying, "Let's begin." But one of the board members stood up and said, "Actually, Linda, tonight we're discussing you." You could feel the air leave the room. They laid out everything. The trespassing, fake patrol, misused funds, and then, as the cherry on top, someone projected my sprinkler video on the wall. The laughter was unstoppable. When they voted, it was unanimous. Linda was officially removed as HOA president. She tried to storm out dramatically but tripped on a chair leg halfway through. It was pure art. I sipped my free meeting coffee and thought, justice is wet and slightly caffeinated, but Linda wasn't done. 2 weeks later, just when peace returned, no patrols, no fake citations, I opened my mailbox to find a thick envelope stamped legal notice. My first thought, great. She's suing me for emotional sprinkler damage. Sure enough, it was from Linda, or technically, her lawyer. The letter accused me of harassment, defamation, and emotional distress because her sprinkler video had gone viral. It demanded I delete all recordings and post a public apology on the Facebook page, plus $7,500 in reputation damages. Reputation? Lady, you didn't have one left. I called the number listed for her attorney. It was a prepaid legal website. You know, $20 for a PDF and a fake letterhead. I almost admired the effort. My real lawyer friend read it, laughed halfway through and said, "This isn't even a legal filing. It's a glorified complaint with typos. So instead of fighting it in court, I fought it with comedy." That weekend was the neighborhood block party. Burgers, drinks, gossip, and revenge served chilled. I showed up in a t-shirt that said, "I survived the basement inspection, HOA edition." The laughter started immediately. Even Carl gave me a thumbs up. Then Linda showed up, sunglasses huge enough to land planes, clipboard still in hand, trying to act like nothing happened. Someone shouted, "Careful, Linda! Don't inspect the burgers without a permit!" The crowd lost it. Her face went tomato red. Later, during the raffle, I grabbed the mic and said, "Before we begin, I just want to thank everyone for helping me survive the great HOA invasion of 2025. The crowd cheered. Someone chanted, "Basement." Then I added, "Oh, and Linda, don't worry, your video's safe." It's already at 40,000 views, 2 seconds of silence. Then absolute chaos. Laughter, cheering, even the DJ doubled over. Linda stormed off muttering about lawsuits, but this time, no one cared. Her reign was over. Weeks later, karma came calling again. Remember those HOA funds she borrowed? Turns out she never paid them back. The city audit uncovered financial irregularities. Translation, Linda owed a hefty fine. Someone posted a photo of the notice taped to her door. Poetic déjà vu. Within a month, she sold her house and vanished. No goodbye post, no lecture about community spirit, just gone. The new owners, a sweet retired couple, brought cookies to everyone on the block. You know, normal people. Now, when someone mentions HOA meetings, we all just laugh and say, as long as it's not in the basement. I finally patched the holes those fake inspectors drilled, but I left one tiny crack untouched. Because every time I see it, I remember peace doesn't come from perfect lawns or power trips. It comes from watching karma, city code, and one perfectly timed sprinkler take down a self-appointed queen. And honestly, that's my kind of neighborhood improvement. Better than any HOA victory I could have dreamed of. Seeing Linda dethroned by her own chaos was the most poetic ending possible. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps me keep bringing you more outrageous, unbelievable, and oddly satisfying HOA tales straight from suburbia's wild side. And hey, tap that bell icon so you never miss a fresh dose of neighborhood drama, karma, and justice served sprinkler cold. I'll see you in the next story, where the rules get bent, the petty gets personal, and justice, oh, it gets even sweeter.